We're here to do a little remodel in this rental space. It's pretty much gutted out, the outside walls, and so we're a lot of fishing wires, kind of fishing some wires, and then we're redoing, or cleaning out the old wiring and putting in new, and somewhat open construction, and some closed in. So you know, we got to do the rough end part now, which where we run the wire, nail up our boxes, run the wires where we want them. Then they'll come in and insulate and put the sheetrock on it. Do the taping and mudding and finish it, get that up, maybe some paint on the walls, and then we'll come in again to put the devices and lights up, the plugs and switches, stuff like that, do the final touches. This part's got to get inspected, and then we have another inspection afterwards. So just for our, I mean, we'll be done today with our part of it. It depends on who's doing the work. You know, we'll probably be back in a couple months, I would think, to finish it. You know, it depends on how busy the other contractors, subs are. You know, right now is a pretty busy time. Everyone's trying to get stuff done before it gets too cold. So they're out. People are kind of out a ways, but yeah, I would say we're probably in a couple months we should be back in for our part and finalize it. Residential is obviously housing, and you know, you deal with more wire, you pull wire versus running conduit. Commercial is a lot of conduit bending and pulling, and usually bigger buildings. You know, obviously they got multi-family apartment complex stuff, which is, you know, you can still run this kind of our wire. They call it Romex, which is used in houses, but commercials, yeah, a lot more piping and bending pipe and conduit, that type of stuff. So now, right now, you know, they built some new walls. It was obviously a different layout in here. He changed it to fit the needs. Being a rental, he's got a little laundry area, bathroom, kitchen, living area, and 2 bedrooms. So these guys now, they're ripping out a lot. They left the ceilings. So some of this old wire you can see here is a little mixture of the, you know, this is the newer stuff we use today. It has the grounds in it, ground wires. And then you got the old stuff. It's, you know, all brittle and falling apart, and that's the old wire they're getting rid of, updating it with the no grounds. So yeah, they rip that out. Once they get that out, we'll poke in our new wires for the light. We're getting towards the end of it here now. Kind of save this part till the end because it's kind of messy up there. You have to work in the old insulation. He's got a little suit on and a mask up there. Richard.
Yeah.
See this?
Where do you want it?
Go straight over to your other light.
Where? Oh, yeah.
Straight over. We'll just connect these. You got plenty there? Okay, one more. Now this one goes straight over to that one that you already dropped for the switch leg. Okay, now we got the bedrooms.
I started right after high school. I've been with Leth a little over 6 years now. Started right after high school. He hired me doing an apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is about 4 years. And then you take a journeyman's test. And then you'll have a journeyman's license, which then you can control a crew. Have 2 apprentices under you.
Well, you got a pretty nice day here today. Sometimes, you know, this would be pretty hot. Summer day, it'd be like working in an attic. It's pretty,
Right here?
really hot. And if it was, could be in the winter, we bring heaters in and try and keep it comfortable.
Yup. That's good.
So you gotta deal with all kinds of different climates and temperatures. Yeah, you kind of got to know a little bit about all the trades. You know, you'll learn a lot working around them. But as electricians, we're the last ones to come in. You'll have your plumbers that come in first, and then your HVAC guys running their heat runs and stuff like that. Because it's a lot easier for us to run our wires around their stuff versus their hard pipes got to go where they kind of have to be where they're at. So we're usually the last ones to come in and kind of work around what they've already done.
Hold on.
So after you're a journeyman for a year or 2,000 hours, you can take your master's test.
No, not
Once
that
you get
one.
that, that doesn't really do you much unless you want to go on your own. So the masters, yeah, sometimes it's just nice to have it, but it also costs you more money a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't need a master's to work for someone. But the master, you can go work for there's bigger companies you can go be a master and be their signing.
Got it, you're
so you can
good.
work for a bigger company. Say like I know Schmidt Printing used to have their own master in-house electrician, or McNeilis has their own in-house electricians, and then so they can do their own work without hiring it out. But they're the signing, they call them the signing master. Our licenses don't travel from state to state either. Each state's separate. So if you go to Wisconsin, you have to take a test there to get it. Iowa, I think now pretty much everywhere you go. I think North Dakota's the only one you just have to fill out paper to get it. But we're pretty competitive with what the biggest thing is probably a pension. A union has
I see
pension.
it.
We do have a retirement plan, a 401 matching. So other than that, unions you have to pay dues. We don't pay your dues. You get pretty much what you're paid. Sometimes you look and see what a union says. Oh, we make $42 an hour. And
That's good.
As a non-union, would say, well, you're making $35 an hour. But you compare that of your $40, you're taking your union dues out, your retirement, your vacation, all that comes out of that. So at the end of the day, you might only be making $30 or $32, whatever comes out. But your $30 is your take home. That's what you actually take home, and then we pay for your benefits on top of it. So you got to kind of compare the two. But the biggest thing is probably the pension versus you have a pension in the union versus we have a retirement plan, 401 type thing.
Richard.
Yeah.
So
They're pretty comparable though.
I need
You don't see many
Couple more
unions.
things
You don't
here.
see many unions
over by the bathroom.
in the residential. They usually go to the larger
The
commercial
bathroom is
jobs,
where we're headed
just
next.
'cause they have the ability to get other employees easier access. Where you can say, "Oh, come work. We got
No,
a big
the
project. We'll
bathroom.
take on some.
Yeah, it's gonna
take
go
on
from the
some more
panel to the
employees."
bathroom.
You always hear you're on the books. It means you still have to pay your union dues. You might not be getting a check from them. You'll still pay your dues if you want them to call you and sometime offer you a job to go work. But there's a code book. It's kind of intimidating. It's basically a lot of legal, everything that protects you. This is a 2020 code book. They come out, you get it every 3 years. They come out with a new code book, which is there's changes. Usually this kind of minor changes. You can tell here, like when they're highlighted, that's a change in it. It just kind of tells you if it's highlighted, it's changed. And then if they have a dot next to them, it's been taken out. You get triangles, but they're all broken. It's kind of it's broken down, and it's got tables. It tells you what size this is, your wire gauges, and then whether it's copper or aluminum. It tells you how much those wires can hold, or as ampacities. So it's a lot of calculations. Math is important. Math is important to know for this, for doing calculations. Filling up a conduit with how many wires, and you have to adjust for temperature. You're only allowed in these boxes, like these boxes, you're only allowed, they have a cubic inch on them. It tells you how, and then these each are like a 14 gauge wire is rated for 2 cubic inches. So when you count up, you have to calculate how many wires you can put in that box.
Well, we first started with finding all the old wires, ripping them out, and then I was chasing where they went to figure out if we could actually take them out or if we had to leave them. And then we were just running home runs back to the panel, and then we connected all the lights together.
you don't spend a lot of time in one place. Like that's probably the biggest difference between doing residential and commercial is some commercial jobs you can be there all year. Or, you know, residential like these, you're a couple days. Longest you're in one, sometimes 2 days. But we do some light commercial, some pole sheds. We do some service work at the school in Cass in there. But yeah, we get to see a lot of different stuff. Do different things versus the same thing over and over, which gets to be a little monotonous when you do just commercial or industrial. There's a lot of different areas. There's controls. You can get into controls, and we don't do a lot of that. But that'd be kind of in the industrial area too, where you're running big plants like the Pace Dairy places where you have automated lines where you gotta keep that stuff going. But yeah, like I said, we don't do a lot of that. This is tying up an outlet box. We'll put a plug in, just a plug in will go on here later. So you got the power coming in on one wire and going out, feeding another one on the other wire. So we're just gonna tie them together here.
Yeah, keep it away from that scuttle a little
and
bit.
we put these tails on it.
Oh,
we call these, this is a tail off of it, so that this will go on our outlets. Yeah, your hot wire, your hot screw it'll be on, and then neutral and your ground. I just like to get them started, and then come back and gotta make sure they're good and tight. And you shove them back in there all the way, so you don't have when they come and do the sheetrock, they don't get them with their they'll take a roto zip and cut around it in there and keep them back so you don't hit that. And then when you come back, we'll pull these out and strip them off and put the outlet on it. That's the service where he's working as the panel. That's where all kind of the distribution point of the house. You know, you have your main breaker that controls all this stuff below it. And you put these on. These are breakers are to control sections of the house.
I used to frame houses before. That gets a little harder because you're out in the elements. So being an electrician, you're still, when you're roughing in a house, it's still out in the cold. And I like seeing like what I do. You finish a house and it's like, oh, I just wired that house. So a sense of accomplishment. I've always liked working with my hands. Start early. Take some time to figure things out too, but don't take too long. Because life will pass you by real quick. Well, the thing is with being an electrician or going into the trades, you can work and study at the same time. Going to university, college, you're forking out money and not getting anything in immediate returns. You can work on the job and get training at the same time, schooling, so it's a double win.
You might always start out at $17 or so. You're up by the time you're 4 years, you might be in the 20s. And there's not many jobs that have, then once you, if you get your license, you're capable of making $30 or better. So there's not many places you can go to school and double your money, you know, double it in 4 years, and you put the work in. You still have to put the work into it. You know, you're still gonna have to. There's a lot of study guides out there that you can learn it without going to school to do it. But you still have to put in the time. But it's a good. You do well and do that, you'll do all right.